I'd like to call this June 10th, 2024 council meeting to order. If you please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Coin.
Here.
Salvo.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Hazeltine.
Present.
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
we'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 28, 2024 regular meeting as prepared and submitted by the clerk.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council and will meet again in 2 weeks to discuss the various items that are always on the agenda. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
Special Legislation, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing scheduled and nothing to report.
Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report and no meeting schedule.
Water and Utilities, Ms. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing new to report and no meeting scheduled.
Emerging Technologies, Mrs. DeSalvo.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a meeting set for June 20th at 5, so I'll have information ready for our next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Request for council action. We have several for the Finance Committee. 24-121 budget amendments. 24-123 amend code section 11501 annual and 5-year budget timeline. 24-124 authorize MOU expenditure grant funding for SRO K9 Police. 24-125 amend PO 24-946 police special uniforms purchases. 24-126 increase expenditure PO 24-739 Rocco Masonry Service Department. 24-127 increase expenditure PO 24-1068 Rogue Fitness Workout Room. 24-128 2025 tax budget. 24-129 purchase of a 2024 Ford Transit van for the MCRC. 24-130 amend ordinance 5923 West Smith reconstruction phase 4. 24-131 bids for job number 1171 Progress Drive Water Tower repaint and repair. 24-132 expenditure not to exceed $50,000 to Medina County Courthouse lease. 24-133 amend salaries and benefits code, add law department intern. And 24-134 amend salaries and benefits code, step authorization, adjustments for the law department. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamel.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just two things briefly. The Medina Community Band concerts began this past Friday, June 7th at 8:30 p.m. The concerts will continue each Friday evening in June and July, with the exception of the July 4th concert will be instead of that Friday immediately after, and all of the concerts are weather permitting. And then secondly, the third annual Juneteenth celebration will take place this Saturday, June 15th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thankful for the sponsors and donors to permit the event to be held free of charge on our public square. And there's going to be a variety of cultural music, speakers, and food truck choices. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are a number of items on tonight's agenda that originated with finance that I will address when we get there.
Thank you, Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Mrs. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple items to note for council and the public this evening. This Friday, June 14th, is our next round of ribbon cuttings and anniversary celebrations, and we have one groundbreaking. So we will start the day at 10 a.m. with a new business coming into town here called Romancing the Walls, and they are out at 443 West Liberty Street. Then at 11 a.m., we will be celebrating a 25th anniversary for the Gardener's Cottage located at 226 South Court Street. And then at 12:30 will be the Acme Grocery Store groundbreaking ceremony located at 1225 South Court Street. So we're all very excited about that. And then at 2 o'clock will be the Reform and Restore Pilates ribbon cutting, which is a new business moving in at 799 North Court Street in suite number 8. So we hope that council will be able to join us for some of those or all of those. The next item is, we've had a lot of questions about the 426 West Liberty Street site, which is the former Yost Sunoco property, so I just thought I would give a little update. As council will remember, earlier this year, you had authorized us to apply for a grant through the Ohio Department of Development Brownfield Assessment Program. That's through the Medina County Port Authority, and that was a $300,000 grant, and council authorized $100,000 matching funds out of the Economic Development Fund. So that application was sent in this spring, and we have not yet heard back from the state of Ohio as to whether or not that grant has been approved. So we cannot start any assessment work until we know that we're going to be getting that grant, which will pay for the phase 1, phase 2 geotechnical surveys, any of that kind of testing type work. If we're not successful with this round of funding, then we will come back to council. If the state authorizes or offers that program again, then we would like to apply for that grant again in the next round of funding, keeping in mind that these are statewide funds and it's highly competitive. So the first step would be, one, to get the grant, and then hiring a consultant to do all the work, and then finding out what exactly it is that we're dealing with in terms of contamination. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, we don't know. If there's cleanup work involved, then we have been talking to the Medina County Land Bank. The mayor, Mr. Huber, myself, Andrew Dutton have been talking to the county about the land bank, about them helping us with any type of cleanup work, so to release the city from any type of liability. So I think when we first talked about this, Mr. Coyne, you had mentioned, hey, we want to make sure that the city would then get that property back out of the land bank, because we would be kicking in $100,000 of matching funds. So that's all sort of in process and in agreement, right? So there are a lot of steps that have to happen before the city can really do anything with that site in terms of selling it, donating it, redeveloping it. I know there's a lot of interested parties that would like to see, they have ideas about that site, but at this point, we're still waiting from the state of Ohio to hear if we even received the grant. So I just wanted to put that out there to kind of, let everybody know that's where we are with the grant funding, and if anybody else has any other questions, I'm happy to address them at that time. So. And then the last item is, we have all of our responses back from the companies that we have our job creation grants, and we have received responses back from Rita. So we will be starting our job creation grant monitoring meetings with those companies, and then we'll bring that report back to council at the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Commissioner Pacoli, Service Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. Recently and ongoing, we received calls and questions concerning the deer. So we have a lot of deer. We have big ones, we have little ones, we have dead ones. We have 38 that we picked up to date, and that number will just increase. Probably by the time fall comes around, we'll double that number. They're running around, just be careful, and we have a plan, and we'll talk more about it as the summer goes through. On another note, this Thursday, our city engineer will be celebrating a milestone birthday. You don't have to print his age, Sarah. So happy birthday, Pat. That's all I have.
How old was that, you said?
Here, here.
I'm not sure, you won't disclose it, but I'm looking into it.
You're looking into it?
It's not as old as Nino, though.
Somewhere between 59 and 61.
Could be. Thank you. Mr.
That's all I
Gladys,
have.
Building Official.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. President. Update for the first 6 months of the year, the building department is extremely busy with no signs of a slowdown. There are currently 6 large commercial projects under construction at this time. They include 3 new buildings, the Myers Grocery Store, Acme Fresh Market, Medina County Career Center, which consists of 2 new construction trades classrooms and shops. The recently remodeled construction trade classroom and shop will be converted for the electrical trades. There are 3 new large building additions, which include the Drug Mart Distribution, Owens Corning Warehouse, True Fit Manufacturing on Lake Road, which will include new production and warehouse space. The 6 projects equal 590,000 square feet of new floor space with construction investment cost of $48 million. We also have 3 large commercial projects undergoing plan review at this time. We continue to see investment and growth along North Court Street. The projects include two new restaurants, Aladdin's Grill and Wingstop. Also on North Court Street, the unoccupied Lone Max building recently sold to a local business owner with plans for a remodel and expansion of his building. This is the building adjacent to and was owned by the Speedway gas station. At one time, they planned an expansion of the gas station. Residential projects throughout the city include 2 new homes and approximately 260 active permits for various types of construction projects. Also today, John Renninger, the new property maintenance zoning inspector, started working for the city today. He fills the vacancy that we had for the past 2 months. That ends my report.
Thank you. Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple quick updates. Our memorial pool is open from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week. Splash pads are on at Greenwood and in Ray Mellert Park. Greenwood's hours are 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Ray Mellert Park is 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. The parks have been pretty busy lately with the mist, and this weekend was the Sting Shootout. We have a softball tournament coming up, so there's lots of people out and enjoying everything that we have here. I also wanted to mention our Party in the Park series started last week, put on by the Rec Center and sponsored by the Cleveland Clinic, Medina Hospital. This coming Thursday, we're having a pool party at Memorial Park from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. with a DJ. There's just a handful of spots left for that. And then Tuesday, June 18th, is our Touch a Truck at the Medina Rec from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I did want to mention a project that just got started today at Spring Grove Cemetery. The contractor is on site removing the roof on the mausoleum. We're hopeful that that will be wrapped up in the next week or 2. And we're thankful that the Friends of the Cemetery is assisting with that project and funding it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to give an update on our courthouse renovation project. The city recently received a statement of qualifications from construction managers interested in the project. Our review committee met last Friday. We narrowed it down to 2 firms that were shortlisted and were invited to an interview presentation. Those interviews will take place a week from today, Monday, June 17th, starting at 3 o'clock here at City Hall. And those meetings are public meetings open to the public.
Thank you. Notices, communication, petitions, there's none. Unfinished business, we have none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it could be entered in the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? We have one. This is great.
Go, Angela.
Hi there, Angela Mancier, 149 Essex Lane. Normally after an event, we just had Kids Day and Teen Fest last Saturday, along with the Farmers Market, and we just finished our 4th market of the 21-week season. But normally I would email many of you in the city to thank you for all the help that you provided, but I'm having issues on my email. where I'm not allowed to email any of you guys. So I'm working on that. But I wanted to come in and to officially thank everyone who helped out. Just like any of our events, we can't do it alone. And I'm always very grateful for the help, the positive energy, the can-do attitude that I come across at every turn. The streets, the city police, the parks, everybody who helps us out, not to mention Kids Day in particular, all of our vehicles out there just making it a really fun day for the kids. It has a great impact, and we can't do it without you. So I just wanted to officially thank everyone. So.
Oh, thank you. Okay, all right. Got
Thank
two.
you for your hard work, Angela.
This is a banner day.
100% participation.
Those kind of stats I like. Those are politician
Hi.
stats.
Chet Simmons, 431 West Washington. Friends of the Cemetery tonight. On Saturday, this Saturday, we're going to have a historical walk. We're going to talk about 5 different families at the cemetery. So meet at Spring Grove at the Mears office building at 1 o'clock if you're interested. It's always a great event, well done, and I think you'd enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's it. Nobody else. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of the following ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 10824, 10924, 11024, 11124, Resolution 11224, Ordinance 11324, and 11424.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinance 10824, an ordinance authorizing the expenditure to Central Square Technologies for the subscription and annual maintenance agreement for the computer-aided dispatch and report management system for the police department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Chief Kenny?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is our annual maintenance agreement for our main computer system that we use here at the police department.
Okay, any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 10824 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 10924, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Medina, Ohio, certifying that when a municipal obligation was incurred, sums were lawfully appropriated in the funds to satisfy the obligation, and sufficient sums currently exist to satisfy this obligation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes emergency clause.
Discussion on the emergency clause in the ordinance. Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. We've had a run on rail brakes with our city-owned railroad, and this is the pay the vendor that fixes those. The emergency clause is requested it because we already had the brakes and they already did the work, and we need to get them paid.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and/or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 10924 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 11024, an ordinance amending ordinance number 4724 passed February 26, 2024, relative to the geotechnical services for the Prospect Street Bridge Replacement Project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. As council knows, we received about $1.8 million from ODOT for the construction of the bridge replacement. ODOT is, in addition to that, funding $200,000 toward the design of that project. The city is responsible for things like geotechnical services. We added some link to the project limits because we wanted to add additional water line. That resulted in increased cost. We have to do a little more geotechnical work, so that's what this is for.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 11024 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 11124, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept the modifications to the Medina County Thoroughfare Plan proposed project list and recommended by the Medina Area Transportation Task Force.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. In 2001, the Medina Area Transportation Task Force was formed and ultimately produced a report that included many different recommendations from the area, which included the city, the 4 townships, and the county, for future transportation improvement projects. The county engineer recently reconvened that group because there was a request led by a group led by the County Parks Department. There's a project they'd like to complete near State Route 3 and 162, and in doing that would make it impossible for 2 of our recommended projects to occur. The group met, discussed it, and unanimously voted to remove those 2 from the 2001 report. Each of the townships and the county and the city now to pass legislation approving that. I know 2 of the townships and the county have so far, and this would be ours if we approve it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 11124 passes 7-0.
Resolution 11224, resolution requesting Medina County Auditor to certify that total tax valuation and dollar amount of revenue that would be generated for a 3.2 mills for the operation of an ambulance and emergency medical service.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the first step of the process to put this renewal on the ballot this fall. We did this renewal, well, 5 years ago, we didn't just do a renewal, we needed a renewal and increase because we had to increase it because over time the cost had increased. This time, we're only contemplating asking for a renewal of the existing levy, so there'll be no change there. And we will send this to the county, they will send it back, and then we'll ask council to pass a resolution of necessity. We'll send that to the Board of Elections, and then we anticipate that this will be on the ballot in the fall.
Any further discussion on the resolution?
Mr. Chairman? I do have one question, Keith. The last time we did this, it was a renewal and an increase. This time it's just a renewal. I know that there's different types of funding that the state does when we do this. How is that going to work? Is the funding going to continue?
It will be no change because it's a renewal, and what happened last time is the state is kind of phasing out their reimbursement.
Right.
So it doesn't make any difference to the city in terms of the amount of money that we would get from a levy. But on a new levy, the property owner pays a higher percentage and the state pays a lower percentage. So last time when we did it, rather than doing a replacement where we would have lost that because it would be considered a new levy, that's why we did a renewal and increase last time so that we were able to preserve the reimbursement on the existing one on the old rules, and then we only lose it on the new portion.
Okay.
This
so
time it's just a renewal, so we're renewing everything as is.
in essence, then, the property owner won't see any
change.
appreciable change. Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the resolution?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Resolution 11224 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 11324, an ordinance amending ordinance number 17023 passed October 23rd, 2023, relative to the request for bids for the Spring Grove Cemetery Section 19 and 20 road improvements project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Is this Mr. Rowley?
Thank you, Mr. President. This request modifies the budget for the Spring Grove Cemetery Sections 19 and 20 road improvement project. The budget has changed as a result of geotechnical testing that was done. We had to modify it and increase that to $110,000. The funding is coming from the balance of the remaining ARPA funds, around $20,000, and then the remaining portion will come from 108.
Thanks, Patrick. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 11324 passes 7-0.
And finally, ordinance 11424, an ordinance amending ordinance number 19023 passed November 28, 2023, amendments to the 24 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's 3 items on here that were donations. When we receive a donation, we need an appropriation to be able to spend it. The rest are changes at the pool, which we were discussed in the finance meeting immediately before this meeting.
Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
DeSalvo.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 11424 passes 7-0.
Council comments? Ms. Hazeltine?
Yes. A couple things. I was not here last time to kick off the month, but happy Pride Month. We will be celebrating on Thursday at 5 o'clock on the square. I'm looking at Reggie to make sure because I can't be there. I have to work. But we will be there at 5 o'clock. We will have our chalk. Feel free to bring, buy something to eat on the square, bring your lunch with you, and then we're also going to have the silent disco along with the chalk walk. And we also, in January, Out Support celebrated 10 years, so that will be another exciting thing we'll be doing on Thursday. And then we will also be taking what we come to call our family photo, which is all of our allies together in front of the courthouse. Cherish Derrick will be coming again to take that photo. So 5 o'clock Thursday on the square, we'll be the ones with all the different colors. I wanted to say something that really struck me. It happened over Mother's Day, and it was something my daughter said. And it really falls in line with something that Councilman Simpson always says. He always says, be kind. They had a board up at the Common Ground for Mother's Day. And people were writing, like, Post-it notes, what do you love about your mom? So my daughter writes, thank you for always trying to be the best mom. It's all our first time living. And that just really made me think, like, that she's 15, she can appreciate the fact it is all of our first time living. So I guess there's a reason her name is Grace, because she granted me grace that I don't often take time to grant myself. So give yourself a little bit of grace too. It's all of our first time living. We're all out here trying to do the best we can. So be kind.
Ms. Hare?
So I wanted to thank Nino's group, the sanitation department. I had the opportunity to do a ride-along with them on Monday. It was actually fun for me. A great group of employees that are picking up our trash and our cardboard every day. It was enlightening, so I actually learned things. And then I also had the opportunity to sit in the finance department on Friday morning, and another bunch of great women who are working hard and working to help each other and doing a great job for our community. So thank you to the department heads. You have great departments.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.